Bum 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 bum.
Hello, and welcome to Hospitality class. This module is designed to give you a general overview of the subject. In this module, there are 7 lessons: rules and policies, the things you will need for this subject, some information on theory classes and practical classes, some information on what this subject actually is, what we do in the way of assessments, what you will learn, and some information on work placement. Okay, our first lesson will cover the rules and policies that you need to be aware of. And we'll begin with lateness and truancy. Truancy means jigging the entire class, jigging part of the class, being absent without a note, or being out of class without the teacher's permission. Lateness means coming to class 1 to 10 minutes after the bell. More than 10 minutes is absence or truancy. Now, our school's truancy policy states students who are truant will be expected to make up the time during the next recess or lunch following the class. Parents will be notified when students are truanting, and in extreme cases, an award warnings will be issued. Students are expected to be on time, fully prepared and ready to participate in all lessons, both theory and practical. Now, sometimes you might not like a particular dish that the class is preparing, but you're expected to participate in the lesson anyway. Your participation in cleaning is just as important, if not more so, than the cooking. It's expected that all cleaning of equipment and premises will be done before the end of the lesson, and that all students continue with cleaning until the entire job is finished, not just part of it. If the cleaning isn't finished by the time the bell rings, students are expected to stay back until the cleaning is finished. Lessons in the computer room will be focused on theory topics. You'll be expected to sit at tables in the middle of the room during these lessons and not to use the computers until you're directed by the teacher. Computers may only be used for the task the class is working on unless specific instruction and permission is given by the teacher. The Department of Education has an account with Woolworths, and that's where we buy our food for practicals. We do our best to accommodate the dietary requirements of everyone, but some of the food we prepare won't be vegetarian, nor non-beef, nor kosher, nor halal certified, nor gluten or lactose free. When you work in the hospitality industry, you will encounter the same situation. You may, but you're not required to eat the food that you prepare each practical lesson. Eating the food needs to happen after the cleaning is done, or, if there's time, at the teacher's discretion, before the cleaning. Students are not to eat or drink any food that is not specifically given to them, such as orange juice or apple juice from the breakfast club. Students need to be aware that when food is made for a function, the students are not to eat any of that food without explicit teacher permission. Students may bring a bottle of water into the classroom or drink from one of the kitchen taps. Students will not be allowed out of class to get a drink from the bubblers, or because the onions are hurting my eyes, or because I don't like the smell, or because the room's too hot, or any other non-serious reason. And award warnings are given to students and their parents to let them know that there's a risk of not getting the HSC. And award warnings are given to students who do not complete or submit an assessment task, students who do not complete their classwork over a period of time, students who are not engaging in the course, and students who have frequent or prolonged absences. When a student receives an N-award warning, the teacher will discuss it with the student. The head teacher will sign it, and the teacher will call home to notify the parent or guardian. If a second N-award warning is issued, the head teacher will contact the parent, and the parent will be called in for an interview with the student. If a third N-award warning is issued, the parent will be asked to attend another interview with the student and the deputy principal.
Our second lesson is about what you need for this subject. Hospitality is not a compulsory subject. It uses many resources and it has a fee. You will need to pay your subject fees. These are usually $220, but because of the kitchen upgrades, it has been reduced to $130. This covers the cost of the food, equipment, and other consumables that you will use during your practical lessons. These fees must be paid promptly. You will need to purchase a uniform for about $80 by the beginning of Term 1. More information about the uniform will be provided in the next lesson. The uniform jacket, hat, and apron should be worn for each practical lesson. The entire uniform, including the pants and neckerchief, will need to be worn for major functions and for work placement. You will get a hat and apron with your uniform, but if you happen to forget them one week for a practical lesson, you may hire one for 50 cents. If you wish to take your food away with you, you may purchase a container for 50 cents as well. You will also need a document wallet to keep all of your booklets and papers in. From the beginning, you'll need to start collecting evidence for your Cluster D assignment that I'll explain in a later slide. Finally, you'll need to bring earbuds because many of the lessons will be on Google Classroom and they contain audio.
Usually, out of the 18 periods per fortnight, 4 double lessons will be practical. One double lesson could be a function. This would be a morning tea or a lunch for the teachers. These functions would count towards your service periods required for Cluster D. And 4 double lessons will be theory. However, with the kitchen renovations, there will be no cooking at all until at least Term 2. Term 4 and Term 1 will be all theory lessons and one of your work placements. The second work placement will be during Term 2 next year. It is our intention to make up all the practical work when the kitchen's renovations are completed, hopefully by the beginning of Term 2 next year. Our theory lessons will be on Google Classroom. You will be given instructions and an access code to enroll in the classroom. So what actually is the VET hospitality course? This hospitality course is designed to train you to work in the hospitality industry. More specifically, in a commercial kitchen. This area of hospitality, kitchen operations, focuses on back of the house or food production. Like your other subjects, hospitality will contribute towards your HSC and ATAR, and it is worth 2 units. But hospitality is also a VET course, which means you'll get a Certificate 2 TAPES qualification if you complete it successfully. If you do not wish to use your hospitality subject for your HSC or your ATAR, you're not required to sit for the HSC examination. There are 3 assessments and 70 hours of work placement that contribute to the HSC mark. The assessment marks will be from a written preliminary final examination, a practical half-yearly HSC examination, and a written trial HSC examination. To get your Certificate 2, you will need to complete 6 cluster assignments, which include both theory and practical assessments. The assessments are competency-based, which means you don't get a mark for them. They are determined by whether or not you can fulfill the requirements of the task. Can you do it? Yes or no? For example, I won't give you a 70% or an 80% in chopping an onion properly. Can you chop the onion properly? Yes. Can you not chop it properly? No. Google Classroom will be used for many of the theory lessons. You'll be expected to check it regularly for missed lessons and for revision.
So what are you going to learn this year? The first thing that you will learn is called Work Ready. Work Ready will give you the information that you need to begin your work placement. There's also an induction presentation. There are 5 cluster units in this course. They are labeled A through E. Each cluster consists of 2 or 3 specific units. In Cluster A, you will learn about personal safety, hygiene, and making sandwiches. In Cluster B, you will learn about food safety, environmentally sustainable work practices, and preparing simple meals. In Cluster C, you will learn about kitchen cleaning procedures and maintaining the quality of perishable items. Cluster D covers all the practical lessons, work placements, as well as all the units involved with cooking, which include preparing sandwiches, preparing simple meals, using food preparation equipment, basic cookery methods, how to make appetizers and salads. Cluster D is about putting those skills into practice through work placement and functions, and you will develop a portfolio that you can take when you're looking for a job. In Cluster E, you will learn about the aspects of the hospitality industry and working with others. You need a total of 70 hours of work placement to fulfill the requirements of this course. These can be achieved by selecting any 2 of these choices. External work placements will be offered by the Department of Education. If a student wishes to find their own work placement, special forms must be completed. Sometimes there may be opportunities for 35 hours of work placement to be done in school. These opportunities will be for function work and breakfast club. The opportunity to complete any work hours at school will not be available in 2022 due to kitchen renovations. When students work on functions and breakfast club, they will get a certificate which will indicate the number of workplace hours and/or service periods. Also, if you already have a job in the hospitality industry, such as at McDonald's or KFC, you can use 35 hours of your paid employment towards your work placement. Keep any certificates that you receive, copies of your online or physical work papers, and photographs of any practical work that you do, including from your work placement, and save them to your portfolio in Cluster D.
Congratulations, you've completed the hospitality overview. As you can see, we have a lot to cover this year. In the next lesson, you will learn more about what is expected and what happens with work placement.